Hey developers, welcome to Code Connect. So in the last few videos, we have seen what are C++, what are header files in C++, and what are namespaces in C++. We have also created our own custom namespace. So in today's video, we are going to see different types of namespaces, and we will create a mini project which will show how we can use namespace in our current code and in the long code of the companies, which will make the code more modular, extensible, and error free. So let's first see the things which we have discussed in the previous videos. So if we see here, so we have discussed about the namespaces. Like we have created two namespaces, n1 and n2, and we have added the same variables. Like if you see, like we are having x here as well or x here as well. And now in order to use it, what we do, we are having a syntax in which we will put the name of the namespace and then the colon which is the scope resolution operator and the variable inside it. So this is how we are printing it, and we can also bring the scope of namespaces into our current scope. So if you see, using this keyword, this statement, using namespace n1, we are bringing all the context, all the things which are inside it into the current scope, and we can simply use it here. So here it is taking x from here. It is similar to this using namespace std. So just like as we have already seen in previous videos, that cout, cin, all these things are being declared in the namespace std, and using this statement, we are bringing the scope of that namespace into the current scope, and due to which we are able to use directly cout. Otherwise we may need to use using std : like this. So in the previous videos we have seen the advantages of namespaces, how we can declare namespaces, how we can create namespaces, and all these things we have discussed in the previous videos. We have also seen why using a namespace std is considered a bad practice, because it's avoid importing entire namespace into the source code, leads to name collision, and this situation is called namespace pollution. So now let's move ahead and see different types of namespaces in C++. So for that, let's move back to our code, and in this video what we are going to do, we are first create different types of namespaces. So different type of namespaces. So I think we will discuss. Let's add a long comment. So edit is suggesting us it's a nested namespace. So we will discuss about nested namespaces. We will be discussing about anonymous namespace. We will discuss about inline namespaces. And finally we will create our own mini project. Of logging and having logging functionality and math utilities. So let's see. So let's create a nested namespace. So let's create in the same code. We will create a namespace n3, and in this namespace, let's create another namespace. Let's name it something like n31. Okay, it's correct. And in this let's take x is equals to 10, yeah, and let's also add another function as it is suggesting to us, and this will do this function from namespace n31, and let's inside it create another namespace n32, and let's do this thing. Now how we can use it, as we have seen, in order to use namespace, either we can bring the scope of this namespace to our current scope, or we can use scope resolution operator to use this. So we will be using this, we will be like if we need to print cout, as it is suggesting to us like n3, and inside it n3 we are using n31, and like so there are multiple scope resolution operator which can be used here, and in order to call the function we can use similar to this. Similarly we can call for another namespace here. So let's run this. So as we have previously discussed like how we can run our C++ program, so we have discussed about G++ command, and in this we are having custom namespace, and we will be simply executing it, and let's run a.out. So yeah, if you see the output here, so this is output from the namespace n1, this is from n2, and this is from n3. So if we see, you see like we are able to use it, like it is giving both the results here. Now you can use you can bring the scope of this to our current scope as well. So using n3, so now we have bring the scope of this to our current scope, and we don't need to use this. Now we can simply directly use this. Let's try to compile it. Yeah, so yeah, we can use both the way. Like here we have already bring the scope, but still we are using via n3, so we can do this as well. Okay, now let's see the anonymous namespace. So if you see the anonymous namespace is quite special in C++, because like if you see in the anonymous namespace, so this has no name, and anything inside it is only accessible from that file only. So anonymous namespace don't have any name, and we directly declared it using namespace, and simply add something like int x, let's suppose int y is equals to 100, and add some logging function in which we will add a message and cout log message. Now what we so the scope of the anonymous namespace is already into our current scope, and we cannot use this namespace to another file, but we can only use this here only. So if we go downwards and if we use it, we can simply log here, we can simply cout y here, and now let's run this, and if we see here, yeah, but it's saying the log hello as we have used here. Now let's see the inline namespace. So this one is our nested namespace. This one is our anonymous namespace, and now let's see our inline namespace. So inline namespace, it is suggesting like we are creating a namespace n4, and that we are having an inline namespace in which we are having x equals to 10, and let's suppose we are having this x equals to 20, and this is printing some value. Now one of the benefit of inline namespace is that, so you will see the magic here only. I will not tell you something about this. First let's see the output, like what it is printing. So if I do something like this, cout n4x, so according to you think like what it will print, because like in the namespace n4 there is no in the scope of n4 there is no variable x, but inside n4 in the scope of n41 there is x. So is this function will give error, or is it we are able to print this value? So think about it. Meanwhile, let's pause the video for a few minutes and think, and let's I am running this. So if you see here, it is given error here. What it is giving? G++ namespace bonding inline namespace are C++ 11 features. Inline namespace n1. Okay, so it is giving that inline namespace is a C++ 11 feature. So let's search on net how we are declaring namespace in online, in the current C++ version. So if we go online, and namespace in C++, so it is giving, it is not giving directly in the web also. I think I need to print this error, or we can use cursor as well. So if you guys don't know about cursor, please download it, because nowadays, gone the days we are we will be searching on internet about the errors. Now we can search directly in the code editor itself. So if we add here this giving error, it will give us some solution here only. So it's saying, I see you are getting a warning about using inline namespace, which is C++ 11 feature. This warning indicates that your code is using a C++ 11 feature but might not be compiled with C++ 11 support enabled. So it's let me help you fix this by compiling with C++ 11 support. I will use a terminal to compile your code with the appropriate flag. So it is giving that while compiling, I should tell the compiler using which we are compiling, which C++ version we are compiling. So let's add this, and let's see if it is we are able to compile. Yeah, we are able to compile. Let's run this. Yeah, now we are able to print our custom namespace. Now the main part is that what is the output of this? So if you see, it is printing this is function of namespace and 4.1. So we haven't declared which namespace inside, which nested namespace we should use, but still the compiler is printing this one, x equals to 10 and this. So this is the benefit of inline namespaces. So inline namespaces is basically the default default variables or methods which we can use for our parent namespace. So if we haven't if we are using parent namespace directly, so we can declare inline namespaces there. So this variable, those variables will be accessible directly by the parent namespace. And for using N42, we still need to use the scope resolution operator inside it, but for inline namespaces it will be using directly. So yeah, these are basically the three different types of namespaces which are mainly used widely. And now let's move ahead, and we will creating our own mini project in which we will create namespaces for logging, in which we will create namespaces for math utilities, and we will be using those namespaces in the main function. So let's create a file, or we can say, yeah, let's create a file in which we will name it math logging utility. .cpv. Yeah. So for this, I think we will be creating some namespaces. So yeah, as we will include our header files, hashtag include iostream, and we will be importing std namespace here. Let's create namespace for logging math, or let's create a namespace utils here. Inside it, we will create a nested namespace math, and inside it add a function called add a comma int b, which will add these numbers a plus b, and or like we can simply return from here a plus b. Let's create a namespace of logging. So in the logging we print errors, we print warnings, and we print info. So these feature functions we can add in the logger. So if we add info, so in this we are having string message, yeah, these things we can print, warning, these things. So we are having info, we are having error, we are having warning. In this namespace we can add another functions also, int like subtract, int multiplication and divisions, a divided by b, okay. Now we will create a main function in which like we will be using our logger. So for info, like we will add here like playing with numbers, and inside it we will be like we will be using our math utility operations. So here you can see here like we can also add logger for info, like adding numbers. We have added the semicolon here, and like from the utility utils math we are adding these two numbers. Now we are subtracting numbers, like these things we can add here. So you see like we have created a like production ready code in which like we are having logging functionality in separate namespace, math functionalities in utilities namespace which is in a separate file, but still we can make this code more modular. So before making this code more modular and readable and clean code, like we can first try running this code like and see what it is printing basically. So if we compile this and we will print this, so you can see the output here. Yeah, I think it's not compiled properly. I think we are compiling the old code. So let's make g++ and math underscore logging utility, and let's see it's able to compile. Let's run on a.out. Yeah, so if you see like it has printed the info, like we are playing with numbers, so we are adding numbers. So the addition result is 30. We are subtracting numbers, multiplying and dividing numbers. Okay, we can also add more like we can make the logger more informative by adding the numbers also, like what numbers we are adding. But yeah, for a beginner thing, like it's a good thing. Like we are able to see like how we can create our own custom namespaces which have separate functionalities. Now let's make it more production ready code. So how we can do that? So for that, I think we will be following this structure. So if you see here, like we will be creating like we are having a main.cpp file, then we are having a logger.h file in which we will declare all the functions, all the logger functions. So we will not implement those functions there. We will only implement it. We will only declare it. We will be having a logger.cpp file, so in which the functions we have declared in logger.h file, we will be implementing those here, and similarly for MathUtils we will be doing here. So let's go ahead. Let's create our functions. So let's create first a MathUtil.h file, So this is our header file. So in the previous video we have seen like how we can declare our header file. So we have seen some header guards like hashtag if not defined, if and def. So we are naming it math.utils. So if what it does, it will basically like see like if math headers is not already defined, then it will define, and here it is ending the if. And in the namespace, here we are declaring namespace utils, we are declaring those functions which we needed. So basically this helps us so that the compiler don't import it multiple times. Similarly, let's create another namespace. Logger.h. So same thing we will do here, if and not defined logger.h, and as the cursor is very intelligent, it is already suggesting us things. Now like since we haven't imported, we can import our string header file. Hashtag include, we can include iostream as well, but let's suppose iostream will include all the things, but we only needed a string here. So in previous video we have also seen that we will be using angular brackets for compiler defined header files, and for like we will be using double quotes for user defined header files. It's still giving error. Let's see, in the math it is not giving any error, but in logger.h it is giving error. Incomplete type void is not allowed. Okay, let's create let's see this bug later. .cpp and logger.cpp. So in MathUtils.cpp we will include our header file. So you see like we are using angular brackets, and same way we will create namespace here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we create namespace utils inside namespace math, and in this add we have implemented those functions, and we have implemented these functions. So in this way, like we have created math utility header files, and we have implemented those functions here as well. Same way we will be implementing for this, we will importing this header file, and we will be implementing these functions here. But don't know why it is giving error. If I do a hashtag include iostream, then let's see. I think let's see using iostream. Oh, I think void is also defined there in the std file. Let's remove this, and if we see std colon colon std colon colon std colon colon, and if we do string here, now let's see if it is giving error. Now it's not giving error. Oh, it's giving error also. Expected an identifier. Great. But this error is getting resolved after importing the namespace std. Okay, cool. Then yeah, I think we have implemented our logger.cpp file and logger.h file. Now let's go to math logging utility.cpp, and let's change this part. Let's remove these things, and let's import our header files. So now we don't need to import our their implementation. We only need to import their header files. So logger.h files. So basically, header files are basically the interface which we use for declaring the functions, and those will be implemented. Like if we don't implement those, the C++ compiler will give error during compilation. So yeah, now let's remove this. Like we have imported. We can use similarly, like I think we don't need to change this as well, like it will auto. We can simply use it, and you see like the code is much cleaner, like it's not messy. So it's looking, since we are having this short code, we are not able to see the much difference, but if there is a large code base, then you can see the lot of difference. Yeah, I think during compilation we need to compile everything. So if we see here, we need to compile this one. We need to combine logger.cpp. We need to combine MathUtils .cpp. Dash o. Let's do this. Yeah, now it's compiled. And it has compiled all. We are getting some new MathUtils.h file. A.out. Yeah, it's giving the output. So yeah, I think you get a context of how we can use namespaces, how we can create our own custom namespaces. And like this is that topic which is not used much, but yeah, it's very good to understand about the C++ internals, basically how C++ is working, how we are organizing our code. So yeah, this is the thing. I think we can wrap up with the namespaces. Now in the next video we are moving to the basics of C++. Like we will be discussing about the variables in C++ and the constants in C++, data types in C++, operators in C++. So let's meet in the next video. Thank you for watching this video.